you want darker stories? Do you want to dive into creepier videos? Well, my little detectives, it's time we go even deeper. This is Anna Uncovered. Check out the link below to find out more. If your little sister, cousin, friend, whoever went missing, you guys would do whatever you could to find them, right? So often on this channel, we cover cases where young victims were failed by literally everyone around them, including those meant to protect them from the dangers of the world. Sadly, that is the kind of case we're covering today. The story of a missing girl who turned up dead 6 months after she vanished. This is the story of Alezzuana Carter. Let's dive in. Alezzuana Carter went by Libby, and she was born and raised in South Philadelphia. She was described as outgoing and super fun to be around. Her cousin says she loved dancing and making TikTok videos. On the surface, she seemed like a pretty normal teen that just liked to have fun with her friends, but not everything was going well in her life. According to reports, Libby ran away from home a lot, whether she was staying with her mom or other family members. Since this case is still pretty new, not a lot of details have come out about her home life yet, but if she was running away that much, then it's pretty clear something was going on. In October 2020, she ran away for what would be the last time, when she was last seen out with friends and never came home. For whatever reason, no one reported her missing until November. No one has said why it took so long for Libby to be reported missing, but it's suspected that no one thought it was necessary at first because she was always running away. This isn't a decent excuse since she was so young, and South Philadelphia is known to have a high crime rate. Homicide rates in South Philly have been creeping up since 2013 and increased by 39% between 2020 and 2021. That's a big jump and super concerning, especially when looking at cases like Libby's. Weeks and months started to go by, but Libby never came home and no one had any idea where she was. It was super hard for her family to get people to notice her since it didn't really make the news and a lot of people assumed she'd just run away for good. What's kind of disturbing about this is that there are reports that Libby was living in foster care. Why would her foster family not do everything they could to bring her home safe? Isn't keeping her safe literally their job? The worst part about her disappearance was the uncertainty of where she could be and if she was in danger. After a while, they weren't even sure if she was in Philly anymore, and authorities feared she'd been taken against her will and was being made to do awful things no one her age should have to endure. There were very few leads in the case since there was literally no sign of Libby anywhere. It was like she literally vanished off the streets of South Philly. Then on May 1st, 2021, her family received the devastating news that Libby was dead. At first, they were just heartbroken that she was truly gone, and with the knowledge that she hadn't died due to natural causes. But then they were mad. It turns out that Libby's remains were discovered on April 18th, 2 weeks before her family was told they found her. On April 18th, the police went to an apartment in Frankford, nearly 20 miles away from where she went missing. There, they found Libby, and she'd been gone for some time. It was obvious straight away that she died due to a bullet wound in her mouth. The authorities say the delay was due to the fact that it took forever for them to identify Libby, and it was only then that they could give the unfortunate news to her family. When they first found her, they thought she was a grown woman in her 20s. The police have gotten a lot of hate for their handling of this case, and to be honest, you can kind of understand why. Firstly, there was literally nothing on the news about Libby going missing, which is super surprising because usually when someone her age goes missing, it's front page news. Also, how come they didn't come check out the apartment block sooner? Where they found her is literally the place where she was last seen, walking into the building, and apparently the police had this info for a while. Even they said that her body had been in the same place since she passed away. If they just looked, they would have found her so much faster. It comes down to the unfortunate fact that when women and girls of color go missing or get hurt, the police don't really care as much as they should. Libby's missing persons case was turned into a homicide investigation, and the authorities had the tough task of finding her killer in a city that has thousands of unsolved murders. Luckily, they had the backing of the community behind them, who were determined to keep Libby's memory alive so they could bring the culprit to justice. A vigil in Libby's memory was held on May 4th, 2021, where members of her community gathered to celebrate her life, raise awareness for her case, and release orange balloons into the sky in her memory. Hundreds gathered to pay their respects to Libby and her family, all while rallying support to catch the person that ended her life. Her mom, Trisha, gave an emotional speech encouraging people to stay off the streets and fight for justice for Libby. She was a strong girl, but she didn't deserve deserve this. Not at all.
This is a child that's walking around in the streets. We don't know what happened, but we're going to find out.
Luckily, the police already had a lead. The apartment where Libby was found had a security camera right outside the main entrance, and right after the time they believed the incident took place, a man was caught on camera hurrying away from the building. The police were offering a $20,000 reward to anyone that could identify the suspect. But as with all things, the investigation took time and things went quiet for a few months. It kind of seemed like the passion for solving Libby's case fizzled out. But it turns out behind the scenes, people were working super hard to catch her killer. Although a lot of investigations like to reveal the details of the cases as they happened, this isn't the case a lot of the time. In fact, most investigators say that they shouldn't release details, especially theories and clues about the suspect and their identity. If the authorities reveal how much info they have, it could scare the person they're trying to get, and they'll do things to make it even harder for the police to find them. Thankfully, that wasn't the case here, because it looks like they may have caught the guy that did this to Libby. On July 19th, 2021, 25-year-old Luis Rodriguez was arrested and charged with Libby's murder, as well as other charges that the police haven't revealed yet. Her family believed that while Libby was trying to run away, Rodriguez offered her a place to stay for the night, and instead, he took her life. So far, no one has said why he may have done this to Libby, and a lot of questions are still unanswered. How did she get so far away from home? Why did it take a month for anyone to report her missing? Did she know Rodriguez before this happened? Right now, since all of this is so new, we don't have a lot of answers, but hopefully the whole truth will come out if Rodriguez goes to trial. If he's offered some kind of deal, he might plead guilty. This means that a judge would just have to accept his deal and give him a sentence. However, if he decides to plead not guilty, that means there will be a trial with a jury who will decide if Rodriguez is guilty or not. Pennsylvania still uses capital punishment, and if he is found guilty of first-degree homicide, that is a very real possibility, especially because of Libby's age. However, if he is found guilty of second-degree murder, then he will get life in prison without the possibility of parole. But what's the difference? Well, first degree is when someone plans to kill someone before they do it, and second degree is when they didn't plan it. Kind of like crimes of passion, where a person might take the life of another in a fight or the heat of the moment. Either way, if he is guilty, I really hope he gets the punishment he deserves for doing this to Libby. This case is still ongoing right now and is likely to last a while, since a lot of trials are still being pushed back because of the pandemic. Hopefully, I can get back to you guys soon with an update on this case. And I really hope it's to tell you that justice has been served for Libby. Be sure to keep her family and friends in your thoughts. This must be such an awful time for them right now, and they deserve as much support as possible. Rest in peace, Libby. That brings us to the end of today's video. What do you think of this case? Be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below.